someone who studied this issue, is there a way to give people religious freedom and protect society?
Oh, absolutely. But it does involve a role for the state to play. The state has to be very careful about issues concerning immigration because a lot of groups violate immigration laws. The state has a role to play with the monitoring of transference of funds. We've seen a lot of these issues after 9/11 where so-called charities actually funnel money in ways that might be a bit unsavory. With regard to the individual, especially children, the state has a role to protect children when their parents are not acting responsibly.
Do you think people are generally naive and sort of accepting, or do you find people are more likely to be suspicious of new groups and organizations?
Many people who get involved in new religions do so out of the highest of motives. They are really acting because they think they're doing something good for the world. Consequently, because they think they're doing God's work, they can become blinded as they grow more and more inside a tight, encapsulated world and lose contact with the outside.
Well, I guess, is the most difficult thing, do you think, how to discriminate without persecuting?
It's very difficult, but a lot of society's laws are in place and very useful. What society has to do is to act responsibly toward these groups when it sees potential problems.
And, you know, how do we discriminate also, you know, in terms of government finding out, because we talk about tax exemption and, you know, faith-based initiatives. I mean, there has to be government involvement in these things.
Sure. And issues about charitable status are very important because charitable status gets at the issue of these multifaceted dimensions. Certainly, most groups make religious claims. The question is the role that religion plays in the much larger activities locally, nationally, and internationally. Religion often is just a tiny part of these multidimensional organizations, and in the larger scheme, they often don't appear to be religious.
If you're advising the public who might, you know, have their prejudices, do you think be open, be accepting, and treat the aberrations, you know, which we know about, the extremes that we've said, just as that's an unusual case, or do you think people should be more on their guard?
Oh, it's very clear that in democratic societies, beliefs are absolutely protected and should be. The question is not what people believe, but rather how they may translate their beliefs into actions. We have to react to negative and potentially harmful actions.
So the question is, are there dangerous cults out there? Are they healthy alternatives?
There's a whole range of dangerous groups. Some are extreme, some are just interesting and novel. And figuring out where the danger is a lifetime task, but it's an important one. People's lives can get transformed positively or in many cases negatively.
Thank you very much for being with us today. We appreciate your thoughts and your time, and I'd also like to thank Susan Palmer and Tony Mears and Philip Shanker. Thank you so much.